Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Dawson County Board of Commissioners voting session. Today is August 18th, 2022. We appreciate those that are with us in attendance as well as those that are with us online. We'll start out with a roll call. And as you see, we're all here. I ask everyone to please stand for a brief invocation and pledge. You would bow your heads, please. Our dear gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for the many blessings of life. We ask for knowledge and wisdom to carry out this business that is for the county's purpose. Anything that we accomplish will give you the honor and glory in Christ's name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic on which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Next up, we have announcements. If anyone on the board have an announcement, I have one. Just for the public's interest, we will begin our budget hearings on next Tuesday through Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, August the 23rd through the 25th. Those are public meetings. If anyone would like to attend, they'll begin at 9 a.m. in the assembly room. And as I said, the public is welcome. Any other announcements? Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. First up, we have the minutes of the work session held on August the 4th, 2022. Any additions or deletions? Motions. Motion by Commissioner Satterfield, seconded by Commissioner Dooley. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And that is approved. 3 with 1 abstention. Ms. Fawcett wasn't here at that meeting, so she's abstaining. All right, next we have the minutes of the voting session held on August the 4th, 2022. Any additions or deletions? Motions.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Dooley,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Gaines. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And those are approved. 3 with 1 abstention. Same reason. All right, next we have the approval of the agenda. I do have some changes to the agenda that I want to present to you. This will be under new business. Number 2 would be scope of service for impact fee update and amendment. You heard that from our planning director earlier. Number 3 would be request for funding to perform land survey and phase 1 environmental assessment on the donated property from Miss Ann Stiles. You heard our county manager earlier with that as well. And number 4 would be appeal of the digest to the state audit. And so with those 3 changes, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve
Motion by
with the
Commissioner,
changes.
by Commissioner Fawcett,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Dooley. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And the agenda is approved 4-0 with the changes. No one signed up for public comment in this particular section. Thank you. We move on to alcohol license. New alcohol license, retail consumption of beer, wine, and distilled spirits. Dawsonville Mac LLC doing business as Taco Mac. Ms. Sharon.
Yes, good evening. Filling in for the marshal. The Dawsonville Taco Mac is located on 314 Marketplace Boulevard. It should be open fairly soon. Nothing came back negative, no concerns as far as the processing of the license, and staff is supportive.
Questions for Sharon? Pleasure of the board. Motion by Commissioner Satterfield.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Gaines. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. That alcohol license is approved 4-0. We'll move on to zonings. First, we will go over the rules that we will use tonight during these zoning hearings. First, the planning director will present the application and recommendation of the planning commission. Then we'll hear from the applicant. Then we'll open the hearing. We'll hear from those who are in favor of the application. We'll hear from those who are opposed to the application. Each person wishing to speak will be allotted 3 minutes per our zoning guidelines. Anyone who speaks will need to sign in and give us your name and address. Also, if anyone has donated $250 or more to any candidate, you will need to fill out a form stating so. But first up, we have ZA 04 Fox Creek Properties Incorporated, request to rezone tax map parcel 112-109, 104-065, 112-019, 112-013, 113-057, -002 and 112-018 from RA Residential, Agriculture, RPC Residential Plan Community, CHB Community Highway Business, CPCD Commercial Plan Community Development, and COI Commercial Office Institution to mixed-use village for the purpose of developing single-family, multifamily, retail, commercial, office, and light industrial uses, Georgia 400 and Lumpkin Campground Road. Last tabled from the July 21st, 2022 voting session. A public hearing was held at the May 19th, 2022 voting session. So we've already had the public hearing in reference to this. And I think there was some new information gathered today. So Ms. Sharon.
There is. Thank you very much. The applicant sent in a request for withdrawal this afternoon. He is here in the audience and will be requesting a withdrawal.
Okay. Question for council. Should we read this into the record, the request?
I don't think you have to read it verbatim. I think if you want to just summarize it, I'm not sure. I've seen the letter, although it might have been sent to me today. I think if we just state simply that there was a written request that states reasons for the request, and then let the board make a motion
Okay.
to accept or reject the withdrawal request, is fine.
Basically, this says the cost to develop the site continues to decrease with the economy at this time. And with some of the other requirements associated, just not able to do it at this particular time. They appreciate the board working with them and look forward to working with the board in some future endeavors later on. And that's basically the reason for the request. As I said, we've already had the hearing, so the board can take up the request to withdraw the application if they so desire at this time.
Just looking for a motion at this point?
Yep.
I'll make a motion that we accept the withdrawal as requested.
Motion by Commissioner Gaines,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Dooley. Discussion.
I'll echo what Billy said, Chairman said, thanks to staff. I know they put a lot of hours and time in this, board too. There was a lot of several pages of stipulations we made, or not made, or asked staff to read multiple times. Thanks for the applicant. I mean, they listed a lot of citizens around that affected that area, and they tried to work with those citizens to get, take care of what their wants and needs were. So like I said, there's a lot of time and effort, and they worked on this site plan. So thanks to everybody who's involved in it.
Other discussion. Okay,
To add on to what Tim said, the Development Authority worked put a lot of hours and effort into it too, to try to figure that out. And the developer was trying to work with them as much as he could to make sure that we have a balanced approach to development with the commercial aspect. And that's, I think, important to this board as we move forward. And I think I just want to say appreciation to the Development Authority Board and the developer as well for that.
any other discussion? Hearing none, please vote. And the request to remove the application is approved 4-0. All right, we move on up to SU 22-02 Happy Dog Retreat Incorporated, request a special use to gain zoning compliance of tax map parcel 070-005-001 for a pet boarding and kennel facility in a RA residential agricultural zoning. This is on Elliott Family Parkway. Ms. Sharon.
Yes, good evening. We believe that this land use has been out there for probably close to 30 years. But they would like to add an office and I believe some other indoor recreation for their guests. So the Planning Commission did recommend approval with 2 stipulations that should be in your backup. And that is that all animal service and confinement areas shall be air conditioned and the building shall be designed and certified sound attenuated. It is just under 5 acres. And again, Planning Commission recommended approval.
Questions for Sharon?
Oh, under these stipulations, it's talking about air conditioned. What about heated? You know, I mean, it gets real cold in the hills up there.
Yeah, the intent was really to make sure it's enclosed and it's not
Climate
open-
control.
climate controlled. Yes,
So there will be heat
There
in the
will.
winter.
yes, yes.
I see her. I like that. She's saying
Yeah.
yes.
So
So,
you could
but-
change the verbiage to.
yeah,
climate
I'd
control.
like to.
Okay.
That's the first thing I thought of when I saw it, or, yeah, climate control or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's not a problem.
No.
Any other questions for Sharon? Thank you, ma'am. So is the applicant present? Come on up and tell us what you would like to do.
In applying for this, what I'm looking to do is,
Tell us who you are first.
I'm sorry.
Tell us who you are. What's your
I'm
name?
Laura Manor, the owner of
Okay.
Happy Dog Treat. Never been through this process before, so bear with me.
It's all right.
You'll
Um,
survive. It's, we don't buy it.
Oh, look, that's the best thing about Dawsonville. I don't either. So I purchased this property 5 years ago and it was, all the buildings were already in place. The problem that I've had in running this business is, in the process of their construction, they put the office right outside of one of the kennel doors. So it's really hard to answer a phone and, have business going on at the same time with dogs moving and being exercised. Also, there's a cement pad that's been out there since before I purchased the property. And in my head, I saw future possible closed-in rec area. We have a lot of dogs, we have a lot of yard space, but we don't have a closed-in area so that we can give these dogs proper activity during the cold and heat and snow like Dawsonville gets and the rain. So that's what I'm looking to add to this facility.
Questions of the applicant?
Oh, how many? Is this just for dogs? I guess since it says Happy Dog Retreat.
We do have some cats, probably not over 5 at a time, and it's sporadic. They come in with their dog friends. They're
Okay.
the same
So
family.
how many dogs do you look after here?
On an average, it's probably gonna be, because the trend has changed, probably 35 to 45. But during a holiday time, we can get, depending on how the dogs check in, singles, doubles, triple dog families, can go up to around 70 to 75.
Wow, have that many there a day?
No, that's during high times like holidays and whatnot.
So they come to you whenever like somebody's going on vacation and they
Yes,
want
sir.
to leave their animal with you to take care of.
Yes, sir.
Your capacity though is 75.
Yes, it's actually higher than that, but
Wow.
I really don't care. I've been doing this almost 20 years. And I don't care to add dogs or keep them at a high level because it's more about their care. At the facility, I have a really good reputation in the industry. And if we start looking to add dogs, we're gonna water down what we have, and I don't want that.
Do y'all get inspected by the ag department too?
Yes.
So
always
you're
have.
all up to date with ag?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've never had any negative scores at all.
Other questions of the app? Thank you, ma'am. We may have some more later.
Thank you.
So at this time, I'll open up the hearing on SU 2202. Anyone here to speak in favor of the application? Anyone here to speak in favor of the application? Anyone here to speak in opposition to the application? Anyone here to speak in opposition to the application? Seeing none, I'll close that hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Can I ask her another
You
question?
can.
Do you have any noise complaints?
No.
I just
Come on
wonder how
up, come back
close.
up here.
Yeah, everybody needs to come up here. When I was trying to listen to the last meeting, when they were talking out of the audience, I couldn't hear a thing. And I was at my computer saying, what? What?"
We
So-
don't have any, and never have had any noise complaints. We're surrounded by wooded area
Mhm.
and the previous owner kept 12 acres. So she's beside me and there's just pasture land around us.
So nobody complains. I
Right.
guess the trees absorb that noise.
Yes,
don't they?
ma'am. Yeah, you can't see the kennel from the road.
Mhm.
So we're kind of closed in secluded, which I enjoy because dogs, you want to make sure they're not on road fronts and safe.
Okay.
How long is the previous owner? How long has that place been there?
Well, Jane Carpenter owned it 10 years before me.
So it's
And
been there
then
almost 20
I
years.
want to, or 20 years before me, and I want to say there was a lab facility there about 10 years before her. So it's been there almost 30, 35 years.
And you were good with the stipulations that she read.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I believe she cares about her animals.
I do.
I
You
love
can't
them
fake
too.
a business like this. You gotta be in it, with your heart. So, and that's why I'd like to see these improvements for these dogs.
Anybody else got a question?
No, my dog, people laugh at me. My dog house is heated and cooled to a ceiling fan in it.
This right here likes heating and air too, believe me.
Speaking of dog houses, do you take husbands every once in a while?
I've been asked that a few times.
Yeah,
Please forbid.
Kathy calls mine the giraffe house. She said, you need to go out there to the giraffe house.
We don't do kids either.
Okay.
It's because I've raised mine already.
Right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
What's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Fawcett.
Second.
That's with the stipulations.
Yes, oh, yes.
All right, second by Commissioner Satterfield. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. The SU 2202 is approved 4-0. We move on down to ZA 2216, Noah and Rachel Bethel, request to rezone tax map parcel 092-047 and 092-047-001 from RA residential to RSR residential subrule for the purpose of subdividing the parcel to RSR standards, Highway 9 North. Ms. Sharon.
Yes, this is just under 10 acres. It fronts Highway 9. And it's basically to do a minor plat to split the property into two. There was no stipulations associated with the approval by Planning Commission.
Questions for Sharon?
What size are the two parcels gonna be?
They're going to split the 9.5
Into two?
into two.
4.942.
Yeah, I think there's a
656.
Yeah,
Thank
should
you.
be in there.
So they're almost 5 acres.
Yep.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Other questions for Sharon? Is the applicant present? Come on up. Come on up, tell us what you'd like to do.
I'm Noah Beal. This is my wife Rachel Beal and my brother-in-law Josh Gravett and Audrey Gravett.
Are they gonna make a speech? They are, aren't they?
The overall goal is basically we purchased a piece of property and we're wanting to give them half of it, but them actually own half of it. So just dividing the property line so that they can build, we can build, everybody's good to go.
Questions of the applicant?
Did you say, are they related to you?
That's her brother.
And y'all get along well enough to build?
You wouldn't believe how many people's asked us that.
Well, I mean, I know how it happens, boy, things blow up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other questions of the applicant?
Wait just a minute, where is this?
Highway 9 North.
9 North.
No,
Across from Bruce Road.
from where?
Bruce Road. I assume that front parcel, the only access is off of 9, so you'll have an easement that goes back to that second parcel. Is that
Yes,
right?
sir. Be running on the right side of the property.
Frank Bruce Road? Is it Frank?
Bruce Road. How
Is
far
it-
north?
is it
road
Frank- is it not
before
Frank Bruce? Is what now?
So there's Frank Bruce,
Okay,
or when you're going 9 north from
There's
here.
Bruce and
there's
then Frank Bruce.
And then Frank Bruce.
okay, all right, but you're, okay,
This is on the left side.
Yes,
okay.
right past Dawson First Baptist Church on the left-hand side.
Oh,
Looking at
yeah,
that new White House.
okay.
Right before it.
Right before it.
Mhm. Goes down, 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 doesn't it?
It's pretty much level for the first half of it.
Is it?
Drops off in a huge gully and then comes back up and there's another level lot in the back.
When did you buy this property? Just,
That's a good question. The beginning of the year?
Mark?
Yeah, the
March.
beginning of the year.
okay.
All right. Other questions of the applicant? Thank you. We may have some more later. So at this time, I'll open up this hearing. Anyone here to speak in favor of the application? Anyone here to speak in favor of the application? Anyone here to speak in opposition to the application? Anyone here to speak in opposition to the application? Seeing none, I'll close that hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fawcett. Seconded by Commissioner Gaines. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. ZA 2216 is approved 4-0. Move on to ZA 2217. Fred Stowers request to rezone tax map parcel 111-036 from RSR residential sub-rule to RA residential agriculture for agriculture purposes. Stowers Creek Circle. Ms. Sharon.
Yes, this is just under 100 acres. Mr. Stowers just simply wants to downzone it. Planning Commission recommended approval and no stipulations. We did check all the historical maps and it truly is zoned RSR, although that it's a large parcel. That's the designation, then it needs to be changed for him.
Questions for Ms. Sharon? Thank you, ma'am.
Mhm.
Is the applicant present? Come on up and tell us what you would like to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Fred Stowers. I'm here to support my $250 fee to change back to RA.
Questions of the applicant? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
At
My
this time,
favorite kind of rezoning. This is my favorite kind.
That's,
Well, for the record, we never know how it got to where it is.
Oh, yeah, I did read that.
I did a routine search one day, just looking at property around me and discovered RSR. I said, what in the world is RSR?
Yeah.
So someone had a slip of a pen. And it costs you your time and me my time and money to get it back to where it was.
Well, how did that happen, reckon?
Mystery of life.
How did you discover it? How did you discover it?
Well, I was just looking at surrounding properties of what was going on and saw mine and so. I knew what RA was, because it's been that for the 40 plus years I've owned it.
Yes.
Not in the overlay of 400, not in anything. Somebody decided to write RSR. Thank you very much.
thank you, sir.
Must have been your writing, Chris.
All right. This time I'll open the hearing. Anyone here to speak in favor of the application? Anyone here to speak in favor of the application? Anyone here to speak in opposition to the application? Anyone here speak in opposition to the application? Seeing none, I'll close that hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Satterfield,
second.
seconded by Commissioner Dooley. Discussion. That could be if the board desired to do that. You could do that. Another motion after this or amendment or whatever you want to do.
So we found no history of how it got to that point.
We went back as far as we have paper maps to the 90s, and that was the zoning, because there is a plat out there for a subdivision. I don't recall the name of it, but once that comment was made at the public hearing, Harmony went back again and we went through the paper maps, and that was the designation, RSR.
Has it always been? I mean,
As far as we could research.
is that strange?
Yes
is
and
to
no,
me.
there's some plats out there and typically you would, I say typically, if there's plats done to 1 acre, 2 acre, that maybe the need for the RSR. So, or it was just a bad survey given to the county for the plat and
So it wasn't an admin thing on our side.
No,
I mean, back whenever. Okay.
not that we could investigate and determine, but we did look because certainly we would not take somebody through the process and
Yeah.
all the work involved, even with the down zoning. If we
Mhm.
could have just said, oh, here, it's a mapping error, let's fix it.
Yeah, and what
Wow.
did he have to pay for the fee to
I
do the?
believe it's either 250 or 350 for,
Yeah, I was asking the chairman if we should consider refunding his fee if it was an admin thing. I think that would be reasonable to do because he's trying to get it back to what it should have been to begin with.
not that we could discover.
We able to do that?
Yeah.
Yes, and in fact, if it had been brought to you, I mean, you could have considered just doing a map correction on your own initiative. So if it's something that you truly believe was a map mistake, I would want to be clear on that and not just someone coming and wanting to downzone, not necessarily setting precedent for that purpose. That would be my only concern. But if you believe it was a map mistake and this is a map correction that you would have initiated on your own accord, had you known, then I think it'd be appropriate to take a motion and approve that
You
if you
want to amend
wish.
that motion and add that?
Yes.
Or perhaps just do two motions and two
Okay, we
votes.
can do two. All right. All right, so
We got a motion in a second already.
we got a motion second already to approve the down zoning
Mhm.
on ZA 2217. Any other discussion on that? All right, hearing none, please vote. And that ZA 2217 is approved 4-0. Now I'll take another motion.
I'll make a motion that we waive the $250
Return.
or return the $250 fee that Mr. Stowers paid in response to it appearing that is an administration clerical issue,
Okay.
not on current staff, but back in the day.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. Back in the
Motion.
day.
Motion by Commissioner Gaines,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dooley. Discussion.
Do you know that is the correct figure? Is 250? I thought he said 250 or 300.
You know what you paid Mr. Stowers?
He sure, I bet he does.
Let's just ensure that you
Refund
intend to
whatever.
refer whatever was paid. I
Okay.
think that's fine.
Whatever.
Strike the 250, just put refund the fees that he paid.
Okay,
Yeah.
You're a roar, that's all you hear, I'm sorry.
We're giving you some money back.
we're gonna
I
refund.
I heard that part. I'm not gonna
Just
say it, not
wondering.
about the money.
Yeah, just wondering how much. I think you said 250 or
250,
300,
That's the application fee.
Okay, all right. Thank
Swing
you.
with the motion.
but whatever.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So we have motion second. Any further discussion?
Who seconded?
Mr. Commissioner Dooley seconded. All right. Hearing none, please vote. And that is approved 4-0 to refund the application fee. All right. Next up, we have ZA 2218 Eastgate Holdings LLC, request to rezone tax map parcel 106214 from RA Residential Agricultural to CIR Commercial Industrial Restricted for the purposes of developing office warehouse space, Lumpkin Campground Road South. Ms. Sharon.
Yes, Planning Commission recommended approval. It's consistent with the future land use and the development activity in that area. There are some stipulations that the applicant is aware of, and that's on your page 243 regarding development of the property.
Can you read those?
I certainly can. Traffic study required prior to submission of a land disturbance permit. Roadway entrances and improvements, including necessary acceleration or deceleration lanes, left and right turn lanes shall be designed, installed, and maintained as approved by the state DOT or the Director of Engineering. A minimum 10 foot of additional right-of-way along Lumpkin County Road for future road expansion. Loading and unloading areas shall not be located closer than 50 feet from the right-of-way. A 15-foot landscape strip along all side and rear lot lines. All landscaping design shall incorporate a minimum of 40% evergreen plantings, and plant material must be Georgia native. The developer shall employ a third-party erosion control monitoring firm for the project, and the firm shall be responsible for inspections and implementation of the stormwater and erosion control ordinance.
Questions for Ms. Sharon? Thank you. Is the applicant present? Okay. Well, at this time I'll open the hearing. Anyone here to speak in favor of the application? Anyone here to speak in favor of the application? Anyone here to speak in opposition to the application? Anyone here to speak in opposition to the application? Seeing none, I'll close that hearing. What is the pleasure of the board?
I got some questions.
I do too.
Question.
Has road department looked at potential for what's happening on Lumpkin Campground and Grizzle Road and feels comfortable with where that entrance is to the project?
Well, once we get a traffic study, that will help us determine also where some of the decel, axle, and it is just a concept plan.
Yeah, we got some challenges on Lumpkin Campground that need to
Yes,
be addressed, specifically around that intersection that this is going to impact. Obviously, we have a need for this type of product, I think, in Dawson County, but we just need to be very cognizant of what's going on with that intersection.
And the applicant was okay with the.
They were
stipulations.
at
Okay.
planning commission. They had them in plenty of time ahead of the meeting and said they had no concerns with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? Pleasure of the board.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Satterfield,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Fawcett. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. ZA 2218 is approved 4-0. All right, we'll move on to new business. Okay, first up, we have consideration of application for parade and assembly, 5-star NTP bootlegger triathlon.
This is a repeat applicant. They use the same pattern. We do have the okay from GDOT. And we're working on changing the ordinance, so the repeat applicants that we don't have concerns with do not have to go through the process.
Well, the difference was public-private. And so
That's right.
we're having to add to our ordinance
Yes.
That's right.
to do both.
But she's talking about it was in the right of way.
The
Public
public.
right of way, wasn't it? That
Some of
was-
it public property and
Yeah,
some of it's
that was the
private property.
difference. Yeah.
Any other information needed? Motions?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fawcett.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Gaines. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And that is approved 4-0. Next up, we have scope of services for impact fee program update and amendment. That's an update to our current impact fee system, our CIE. The quote was $63,700. Some of that would come from the impact fee fund and the rest of it would come from general fund if that's what you so desire. Any other information needed? Motions?
I'll make a motion to approve the impact fee study program update with the funds coming from impact fees and general funds,
Totaling 63.
63,700.
Right, motion by Commissioner Satterfield,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Dooley. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And that is approved 4-0. Next up, we have a request for funding to perform land survey and phase 1 environmental assessment on donated property from Miss Ann Stiles that she so graciously donated to the county, and that's got a cost of $16,500, and that would come from the general fund. Any other information needed? Motions.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fawcett. Second by Commissioner Gaines. Discussion.
There again, she wasn't here last week, but thanks for your work and staff's work.
I'm
And
not done.
I know, but
You did a lot.
Go along.
Just admit it.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
I mean, I think this is and Billy said that last meeting, great opportunity for a passive park that,
It really is.
people can enjoy for years.
Yep. Any other information? Any other discussion? Hearing none, please vote. And that is approved 4-0. And lastly, we have coming out of executive session, appeal of the digest to the state auditor. Mr. Gaines, you want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so the State Department of Audits determined they do audits on our tax valuation that the tax valuation department does, and they determined through their processes and procedures that Dawson County undervalued the properties in Dawson County from a tax assessment perspective. We disagree with that audit in the fact that we feel like they are properly valued. And so we would like to move forward to dispute that officially. To be clear, this does not affect anybody's existing tax invoice they've already received. That will proceed on like normal. And while we go through this process and no matter the result of this process. So my motion is to authorize the tax assessors and legal counsel to appeal the correctness of the Department of Audit's property tax digest for the 2021 Dawson County audit.
Motion by Commissioner Gaines,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Dooley. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And that is approved 4-0. No one signed up for public comment in this section? Okay. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you for your attendance, both here and online.